Any views or opinions expressed on KUR are not necessarily those of Kutztown University, Kutztown University Student Government, Kutztown University Student Services Incorporated, KUR staff and management, or other affiliated organizations.
Well, welcome, weary travelers, here on board the Paranormal Express, running the rails of the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
We found you finally. You're not on the run anymore.
Yeah, I'm back.
You've been captured.
Yes, I don't want to talk about it. It took some time, but yeah, I'm back. I'm here. Here we go.
I was on vacation.
Yeah, I just had to take some time off once I found out I could actually leave the train. Pretty embarrassing mix up there, but we're here again. We're ready to go.
The conductor doesn't really speak to us. He just kind of.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. It's
yeah, the conductors are actually our roommate. That's all he does. Just.
Yeah, very awkward at social gatherings. Well, today's topic of mythical lore, folklore, and all of that together.
Smell the sea breeze.
Is going to be that of the salty seas, the greatest monsters
Yar.
that be. We're going to be talking about
scallywags.
sea monsters today.
You sea dogs.
Now, not all of our sea monsters are going to be limited to literally giant creatures that inhabit the ocean.
No. Two of mine were once women.
Yeah. So just the idea, the variation of just creatures,
One
beings,
of them's still partially a woman.
paranormal phenomena that happen within the ocean.
That broadens it quite a bit.
This
is very focused on monsters itself.
Yeah, specifically.
It's
monsters.
not like the Bermuda Triangle with the disappearances of all the like ships and boats.
Which is something we could do
planes.
in the future, but
Yeah, I got that book of the mysteries of the world or whatever.
yeah.
I don't know if it talks about that. I haven't looked at it yet.
I feel like that should be. That's like a pretty
It's
big
probably
one.
in there, yeah.
It's a pretty interesting one.
The pyramids are on the cover, which I don't know
Um,
why that's there. They're not that mysterious.
Did you ever play Tony Hawk with the secret level that is the Bermuda Triangle?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there's like a level where you actually go to an island. They have like a small little airport, and then the rest of it is like the caves and stuff.
That's cool.
And it's like constantly storming. I don't know. The Tony Hawk Underground games were fascinating in that they just went crazy. Because like Pro Skater was supposed to really emulate skateboarding, and then Underground was just having fun. That was street skating. Anyway,
nice.
that's off the track.
Yeah.
It's
Off the
difficult.
rails.
Yeah. It's difficult to skate anymore without feet.
We're off the rails, though. We're in the ocean today. We're a boat.
Yeah.
We're the Paranormal Express, Paranormal Liner. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sea
I'm trying to
liner.
think. What are words for liner, voyage, paranormal voyage? I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah. But I think I'd like to get us started with one of the most uniquely sea monster-esque. Like this is like the framework for many monsters.
The quintessential.
I would say quintessential. One of the most popular. You've heard it.
It's the one
either as a
everyone
child.
knows. There's
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo. Like, there's
Yeah.
multiple Scooby-Doo movies with this thing.
I have no doubt about that. And that is a creature. One that lies within the depths of Loch Ness, Scotland. One of the most
Wonder what it
iconic
is.
photographed mythical creatures in the world that resides there.
That's right. It's the Kraken.
Yes. It's the Loch Ness monster if you couldn't tell by now.
Are there other sea monsters in other locks?
I can only imagine there might be. Lochs are sea monsters themselves.
Kind of.
They eat boats.
Yeah.
Basically.
They're very deep and very narrow.
I actually visited the lochs of one of the more famous lochs that's in Quebec.
Oh.
There's a 3-stage loch there, and I forgot. I think it's Loch 29. Really crazy. They're huge. It's just a giant door that opens, a ship goes through, and then they fill it artificially with water up, and it's just a staircase for boats.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Well, one of the earliest depictions of mythical creatures within the waters of Scotland dates all the way back to 565 AD, within the biography of Saint Columba.
Oh.
There are records and reports of swimmers being bit by some crazy giant creature, in which they would run onto shore to Saint Columba and ask him to pray it away, basically.
Is he like Columbo the detective?
He could be.
But a priest.
I mean, he got down to the bottom of what that sea creature was. Apparently, Saint Columba could actually will the monster away. He would actually tell the monster to go back to the sea, and thus it would recede back. And then there were a few more reports of that. This, unfortunately, could not be debunked with its significant age, and just the possibility of many different creatures inhabiting those shores at that time. It is where Loch Ness Monster comes into the picture is in 1933, in which many roads were actually finished construction around Loch Ness, and which gave an unobstructed view of the water for many people, those traveling by either car or foot in the area. Many people started having picnics and visiting the shores more often, and that's when one couple started to report that they had witnessed a great dragon or prehistoric monster that was inhabiting the water, just swimming around. Since then, and through December of that year, many more witness accounts started to multiply, basically. They were just coming day by day, more and more would come in. It started to build up some humdrum, and people started visiting from all around the area to try to see what this monster was, safely, of course. It got to the point where local authorities hired the...
and so the gang of a bunch of teenagers and their dog?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, you got to have a dog on the crew, right?
Well, yeah, obviously.
They hired a famous big game hunter named Marmaduke Wetherell.
Ah, he's named after a dog.
Yeah,
clearly.
Marmaduke. So they hired him. It was the Daily Mail, actually.
Okay, yeah, I always forget how old the Daily Mail actually is.
You look at the Daily Mail today and you go, that's just some internet news stuff. No, like they've actually been around. A legitimate thing that was established a long time ago.
Same with Nintendo.
Yeah, 1800s. So the Daily Mail commissioned his assistance in tracking him down because he had lots of experience hunting large game across Europe and southern areas. Marmaduke reported that there were large footprints found around the shores, to which he surmised it must have been a large, powerful creature, 20 feet in length, judging by the tracks and the way the prints were made out. However, in the mid-90s, the Natural History Museum zoologists determined the prints were actually those of umbrella stands and ashtrays that had the shape of a hippopotamus's foot.
Nice.
Either because of the popularity of hunting those creatures once expansion to Africa had begun,
right,
and thus the discovery of that animal, and therefore its
anger,
it's
hostility.
So
I don't know. It's very angry,
and also like it was like the early 30s and everything, where big game hunting was like super popular. I just, whenever I think of that, I think of what's it called? It's the Jim Carrey movie with When Nature Calls. Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. The guy that hires him to track down that bat has that giant room, and he's like a huge game hunter. And he's dressed up like one of those colonels with the big boots.
Right.
He looks like Colonel Mustard from the Clue games. That's what he looks like. He's got the explorer cap, the big bulk hat.
The goggles.
Yeah, I love that thing. That's just what I think of when I think of this Marmaduke person. So he was completely embarrassed. His reputation was ruined in the area because of that. So did I say that the museum was in the 90s? It wasn't. It was around the same time. Oh. I forgot. The 90s is the next part that I was going to get to. I apologize for that. Now, when I talk about Loch Ness Monster, everybody thinks that famous photograph the one of it looking like it had a long neck to a head that was coming out of the water. This photograph was known as Surgeon's photograph. It was taken by a man whose name was Wilson in 1934. It took months before popularity of the attraction just absolutely just blew. Just everybody started coming from all over the place. Apparently, reportedly with the idea of inflation and everything, roughly $80 million was contributed to Scotland's economy a year because of tourism and everything like that. Because it just became an attraction. There were festivals, there was reports, there was people all over the place hunting with
Since I don't know if I'll get
devices.
to it or not, but it's very similar with Champy.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a very similar creature, but in North America.
Yeah. That's just what that's just all these spectacles become. I mean, the popularity of carnivals.
I think
back
there's a
in the day.
statue of Champ at that lake, and I think there's something similar with the Loch Ness monster. At least every once in a while, like there's like an inflatable thing that they show up. Like they like to use it.
Yeah.
It's a symbol.
So actually, another big beast we have to tackle is this first notebook from the KUR Notebook. Attention, KU community. Did you know that KU faculty and staff members can join KUR? Contact KUR at kutztown.edu to express your interest in joining. You can also call 610-683-4059 or stop by rooms 188 or 19 in McFarland Student Union. This message is brought to you by the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR. So that picture has been just famous for decades since then, but it was in 1997, they actually did research into the history of that photo and where it was created from. It was the last remark of a disgruntled Weatherall, Marmaduke Weatherall. He doctored that photo using a plastic toy submarine and a wooden head attached to it to create that image.
Yep. Sounds about right.
I have no idea the size of that, but I can only imagine a little toy submarine must have been just,
I mean, it's all about perspective.
6 inches or so. Yeah, and it looked like a large creature because the water doesn't give you any idea of scale or anything like that. Of course, many photos came after that, most likely of debris. Driftwood is one of those more common things of that. There's also... I'll let you get into that if you do want to talk about Champy. So...
What, one of the things that was
the whale, yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Well, Champy's not that. Champy's driftwood.
Okay.
So you can get into that.
Okay. One of the funny things, I'm just going to add on to the end of this. This isn't necessarily related to Nessie, the Loch Ness monster.
I think it's possibly more so related to the Kraken.
But it's probably more so related to the Kraken.
Or just sea serpents in general.
Yeah, sea serpents and sea creatures that are serpent-like in general. This is fun to say, not necessarily, but the depiction of a long appendage coming out of the water has been unfortunately confused with that of whale penises. Apparently, whales practice this act of protruding their penises above the water. I don't necessarily know what for.
I don't either.
Besides maybe...
But, yeah, the idea is...
Anyway.
That those are sea serpents. Those are what old fishermen back in a long time ago saw and were like, yes, sea serpent.
Yes.
Couldn't be anything else. And to their minds...
Man, I would be horrified to know
what it actually is.
And then to find that out, you're just like, oh, really? Really? But, yeah.
I feel like they'd be even more terrified if they found out what it really was.
It might be, yeah, that's true. But yeah, anyway, so that's a Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Let's move it on over to what Jake has. What do you got for us?
Sure. I guess I'll start with the first half of this duo. Well, it's not necessarily the first half, but I don't know which one came before the other. But similar to the Loch Ness, it's fairly well known. Probably not as well known, but in Greek mythology, there's not a whole lot of sea serpents or well, there's a lot of sea monsters, I think. But two of the most famous ones are Scylla, or Scylla, and Charybdis. So I'll start with Scylla, as I'll probably call it, or Scylla, though, is how it should actually be pronounced. There are these two creatures that are on opposite ends of the strait. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Is it listed here? It might be on this page. Oops. The Strait of Messina. It's in between Sicily and Italy, like that area. But Scylla was once I believe a Nereid or a Neid, some type of nymph, I believe, who there's various different tellings, but basically in some way she gets turned into a monster. This monster is described by the ancient authors as having an upper body of a woman, the tail of a fish, and a circle of 6 dog heads. And those dog heads each have shark teeth, which are used to stretch out and grab people who sail by and eat them alive. That's what happens in various stories that she's in, specifically the Odyssey. That's the one that I'm familiar with. What?
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, she's terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know what her real life explanation would probably be. I wonder if there is like one anyway, because I know there is one for Charybdis. But that's basically how she's described. Some of the sounds or things you would hear if you sailed by her, where apparently the like yelping of dogs, and like I think some like snaring of teeth or something like that. But this possibly comes from the imagery of the word of what her name is like related to, being Skylaros, which is like hermit crabs, or Skylax, or Skylax, I guess, which means like dog or dog shark, because these dog heads again have shark teeth. But yeah, that's essentially what she's described as. I'll talk a little bit about her story if I can. In the Odyssey, which is what I'm the most familiar with, she's of course like Odysseus has to sail between the two monsters in the strait. He's guided by I've talked about her before, but and I think I've mentioned how her name's actually pronounced. It's Kirka, or Kirke, I believe, but it's often translated as Circe. I think I talked about her in one of our witches episodes.
Yes, you definitely did.
She guides Odysseus to lean towards Scylla rather than going over towards Charybdis, because if he went to Charybdis, he would have lost everything. But if he goes over to Scylla, she said that it would be better for him to lose 6 of his men at worst than all of them. So he did this, he listened to her, and as they were trying to go over towards Scylla, 6 of his men, her heads shot out, snatched them away, and then they veered off, and they got away eventually. Though, of course, Odysseus gets thrown all over the place. Eventually he comes back there, and worse stuff happens. I think he only lives because he hangs onto a fig tree at one point. So this is the description from the Odyssey, though. They say, they writhed, gasping as Scylla swung them up her cliff, and there at her cavern's mouth she bolted them down, raw, screaming out, flinging their arms towards me, lost in that mortal struggle. That's the description of his men being taken away by Scylla, or Scylla. Of course, anytime there's a nymph or some mortal, well, relatively mortal, at least in this case, woman, typically, in Greek mythology, Ovid has to take it and, change it to his liking, to fit his, political narrative. And that he did with Scylla. This is where we get the story of her falling, well, not her falling in love with him, the god Glaucus, falling in love with her. He's an old sea god, and basically turning her into this monster. Not on purpose. He tries to get Circe to give him a love potion, but she instead gives him a poison that turns her into a monster in some way. Either she bathes in it or she drinks it. Either way, she turns into that monster. But that's essentially it. And of course, this is Ovid's. I've talked about Ovid a lot, and how he, changes stories to fit his political narrative for being usually people in power in general, but kings often.
Huh.
But that's Scylla, essentially.
Sorry, I was getting so obsessed looking at pictures of Scylla because it's really scary.
Yeah.
I saw apparently there's a Godzilla King of the Monsters reference to Scylla.
Oh.
Where they have their own depiction of it, but it's basically a giant spider with a Cthulhu face. It's actually horrible.
Yeah, that sounds
almost nearly scarier, but
can't get this to go.
That's interesting.
Why?
Yeah, it seems like
this doing this. Anyway,
it's fascinating how they're when we think about sea monsters. Let me save that point actually after some messages, because I'm going to go into like the idea of that epithet of a sea monster. But really quick, I got to throw it over to a few messages. Let's keep those rails oiled and the coal burning.
With our ectoplasm.
And then we'll be right back here on the Paranormal Express on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
Listen to My House the first Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for the best music from new and up-and-coming artists. Want to hear your music on My House? Then send your FCC-friendly songs to kurmusic@kutztown.edu or myhouse@gmail.com. Then listen in for the chance to hear your music. Only here on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
Take a moment and see if you can guess what I'm doing. I'm getting healthy by walking. Walking daily has tons of health benefits, managing weight, lowering cholesterol and blood pressure, and improving your overall mood. So, whether it's around your neighborhood or over your lunch break, just take a walk. For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. The Will Rogers Institute, since 1936.
Good evening, passengers on the Paranormal Express. We're here live again on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
Yes.
If you're just joining us, today's topic is about sea monsters.
Yar har.
Creatures of the deep.
Fiddle-dee-dee. Yep.
And things like that. I talked about the classic Loch Ness Monster. Jake just finished up talking about Scylla. And I keep forgetting how to say the second one.
Charybdis?
Charybdis.
Yeah.
As well.
There's no double pronunciation for that one. It's just
I highly recommend looking up a picture of Scylla. There's fascinating array of people's own artwork of it, but just in general. Excuse me. It's so scary I sneezed.
It's the ghost flu.
Oh, I like this one. There's like legitimately furry wolf heads.
All right, what did we say before? Ghost Vid-19. There we go.
Ghost Vid-19, yeah. So following those messages, I think we're going to continue. I have one that's really, really fast.
It's not you just sneezed. It's fine.
Really, really, really quick one. It's called the Bishop Fish.
Oh, yeah.
This is just a really, really silly, really
I haven't
old
looked at him in a while.
little short legend about a monster that was found on the northern shores in the Baltic Peninsula. And it's a fish that resembled that of an old wise man.
Isn't there also like a fish that isn't like that's actually called the bishop fish?
There probably is.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably
I
some
am
kind
looking
of
at
koi
pictures
with
of
some
him.
whiskers.
He's very round.
There's also a priestess fish or something like that.
He's very. Oh, I'm thinking of the monkfish.
Yeah, monkfish.
He's very round, though.
Yeah.
This guy.
He's got little feet.
Yeah,
he's got a nice long nose. Very, very wizard-esque, wise man looking.
We'll do another Wizards episode with him.
Okay, so this fish was fisherman brought this to the king of Poland. He was so pleased by it, he wished to keep it and let Catholic bishops in his court look over it. However, the Catholic bishops noticed that it was kind of trying to signal them that it wished to return to the ocean. So in which they did. They brought it back to the water, but before its final gallop back into the water, it made the sign of the cross, which of course is the forehead, chest, left and right shoulder.
Yeah, the Catholic thing.
So imagine a fish looking like a dude in a fish costume, doing that with a fin and then jumping back into the water, Free Willy style, or whatever. No, more like Big Fish. Yeah, just think of the part of Big Fish when he gets the wedding ring and he sends the fish back out and it's his father. Oh man, it's a great movie. I didn't want to tarnish it with how stupid this one is, but highly recommend looking at pictures of the bishop fish. So that was just a really short one. That's really all I have. So you want to draw us into?
Sure, I'll do the second half.
Cool.
I don't know if that's that.
Okay.
You're playing it up. How dare you? It's Charybdis, the second half of the two monsters and the Strait of Messina, I believe. Again, that is the strait in between Sicily and Italy, I believe. Just that little narrow passage of water that is in between the two land masses. Really not far apart. Like I said in the stories, you either have basically every hero or group of people that is faced with going to either Charybdis or Scylla, they have to choose one or the other. There's no way to really get around that, apart from like one instance, I believe. Trying to find an actual description of Charybdis. She was also at one point a nereid or a nymph of some type, I believe. But what happened to her is I think she helped Poseidon in his feud with Zeus, at least in one telling of this story, where she basically, I don't know exactly how it happened, but she basically gets turned into a grotesque monster and forced to the bottom of the sea, and she thirsts, and so she has to drink of the sea, and when she does so, she creates whirlpools or maelstroms. I believe they're the same thing.
Spooky.
Trying to find an actual description of her. That's just what I remember, but I don't see anything. It says 3 times a day, Charybdis swallowed a huge amount of water before belching it back out again, creating large whirlpools capable of dragging a ship underwater. In some variations of the stories, Charybdis was simply a large whirlpool instead of a sea monster. But I like the version where she is an actual monster because it's more interesting. But yes, that is basically her description from what I remember. Just trying to find more stuff. She's, like I mentioned, since she was helping Poseidon, that's because she is the daughter of Poseidon, at least in one version. Again, this is Greek. There's a lot of different versions of their mythology a lot of the time, just because it lasted for a long time and there was a lot of different writers. Some of them were contemporary to each other. Also, just one more little tidbit, I guess, about the geographical locations. It looks like from this map, at least, Scylla was on the mainland of Italy, or what today would be Italy, and I think Charybdis is on an edge of Sicily. Yes. So she was what she was actually doing that angered Zeus was she was helping her father Poseidon engulf land into the sea, swallowing it whole, basically, and which angered Zeus because he lost land because he was the dominion over the land and the sky and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course, Poseidon sea and Hades got under everything because he got the short end. Kind of, not really though. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she was punished by being transformed into a hideous bladder of a monster, is what it says here. Bladder. So I just kind of imagine her as a mass of stuff. But yes, that is what she did. She's usually just an object for various heroes or groups of heroes, in the case of Jason and the Argonauts, to avoid. With Jason and the Argonauts, They were able to. This is the only instance where the heroes who were faced with them were able to avoid both of them. And that's only because the Nereid nymph, who was the mother of Achilles, Thetis, or Thetis, I guess, probably Thetis though, she guided them through the passage. That's literally it. And there's nothing there because nothing happened to them because they actually got through. And that's the only version I've been able to find that's like that. Of course, I mentioned the Odyssey with Scylla, where she took 6 of his men, but later, as I mentioned, he had to go back through that passage for whatever reason, and this time he went closer to Charybdis, in which his ship was torn apart, or no, he was on a raft by that point, which was torn apart and sucked into her maw, as it says here. But he survived, like I said, by clinging to a fig tree that was on a rock nearby. His raft was then expelled. So this is the version where she's not just a whirlpool and she's an actual monster that, drinks and then spits back out the water. He then grabbed his raft, when it came back out, and then paddled away to safety. There's also the Aeneid. This is a long time after that. I'm pretty sure the Aeneid was written during the time of... it's written by Virgil, I believe. So, I think early Roman Empire. I'm not exactly 100% certain. But in the Aeneid, the Trojans were warned of Scylla and Charybdis. They were advised to avoid them completely by taking a different passage. But then they were forced to get through and to avoid, I think, Mount Etna. I believe that's what... I know Etna is a mountain. Yeah. And so to avoid that, they had to go near Charybdis. It doesn't say exactly what happened. And then many of us have probably heard of Aesop's Fables. He apparently once according to Aristotle, Aesop once teased a ferryman by telling him that a myth of Charybdis, that she would, with one gulp of the sea, she would bring the mountains into view. So basically claiming that the world used to be completely underwater, but Charybdis drank, and then land and mountains became view, and then she drank again, and islands appeared, and the third time, which has yet to come, is when she will drink again, and the sea will dry up. That's basically all there is to do with Charybdis. The waterfall woman. Not waterfall, sorry. Whirlpool woman.
Whirlpool woman. That's a cool way to just end that. The whirlpool woman. I mean, whirlpools are terrifying.
They are.
Depending on size. I mean, I've seen the pitiful one at the end of the basin at the base of Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah.
It's just kind of... It's just
Charybdis.
like, I don't know, water's just kind of...
It's Charybdis' daughter.
It's
She's
really
baby.
small. But the true ones that literally swallow ships, I mean, if you've seen the third installment of Pirates of the Caribbean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Or in the first episode of One Piece.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's like a stagnant image that slightly rotates because it's animated from like the early 90s.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He escaped that in a barrel.
Right. Well,
What do you have for us next?
this one. That's what I have. This one. I could try that again.
What do
Last
we at?
one I have. This one's really interesting. We're at 33.
Okay.
So time. This was an unexpected addition to my research this morning, or earlier, about sea monsters. Just because I was just going through a general list trying to get ideas, and this one came across. It's called the Umibozu, also referred to as the sea priest, sea monk, or the Umihoshi. The origin of this creature is a little bit difficult to understand. It's really nuanced through many different literary and fictional works throughout the Edo period in the early 1700s. Edo, sorry.
You're fine.
It is a yokai or sea spirit that inhabits the sea surrounding Japan. Its appearance is probably the most horrifying part of it. It's depicted many times over as a giant humanoid shadow creature that can be tens of meters to hundreds of meters tall, with either red or completely white glowing eyes.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's
all I gotta say. It's just cool.
What's even more scary, I mean, it's kind of creepy. It's okay.
It is.
So, in very old Japanese art, there's a little bit of It's a little bit of jank to the characters they draw.
Oh, often. I mean, they're medieval art in general.
Yeah, medieval art in general, true. But it's a lot of jank to it. And this is where it really comes in clutch, because there's one picture. It's from 53 Parallels of the Tokaido. It's the cover of the novel, and it's so eerie looking, because its eyes don't even look like eyes. They look like two jaws of teeth that are open, and it's creepy. But it's just a simple head on a pair of shoulders, and it's a man with a hook on a boat trying to fight it. But there's no particular motive really to the umibozu's attitude. I think, as most yokai are, they just exist in their own, and sometimes they come across humans. A completely calm sea can just be completely calm, and without warning, one shall rise out of the water and immediately turn all water around it into tumultuous water with giant waves and everything but the storm that a sea would have when it becomes that way.
So it's like the choppiness of the ocean before the storm.
Yeah, or even during the storm, just the waves and the battering of the ship. Yeah. Apparently, the umibozu usually requests that of a bucket or a barrel.
Full of anything?
No, just an empty one.
Why?
I really couldn't find a reason why.
That seems weird.
I
just imagine this tall,
I
big,
think-
like shadow monster being like barrel.
I think this because there's a
Bucket.
similarity of it with the funayure, which is a creature that is more goblin or fish-like, but still bipedal. That
I mean, it makes more sense that a goblin would want a barrel or a bucket.
Emerges from the water and requests that of, they would say, lend me a ladle.
Oh. So a bucket for their size.
And it seems like the contrast between the funayure and the umibozu is that the umibozu actually just destroys ships on accident, or most of the time. The funayure usually gives them a chance if a ladle is offered, which is actually related to a old sailor's trick of the trade, which was to keep sharks away. They would melt miso and pour it into the water. And
Miso
apparently
soup.
that was one way to dispel funayure from coming towards your ship, as well as this other. I'm just going through like a few small minor yokai that appear in the water. Mayo Ibune, which are basically like ghost ships. They're like vengeful spirits that
cool.
died at sea, that became
You gonna talk
together.
about the kappa?
I could. I did also see that, actually.
I mean,
that's
it's probably the
another-
most famous like sea creature monster thing from Japan.
Um,
Yokai, I guess, could use.
But that's another interesting one where they also use the same thing. A ladle full of miso poured into the water keeps them at bay. But the male ubune only appear on the 15th of every month under a full moon.
4 days ago.
Yeah, if there was a full moon on the 15th, which I think there was. There was a pretty big moon.
Yeah, I
We had that
remember
lunar eclipse.
That was
over the
yesterday. We
weekend.
saw that yesterday, though.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it changes depending on where you are in the country.
Yeah, that's true. That's still
Like,
pretty
some people
spooky.
had it, I believe, on the 15th.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
Just the thing that just horrifies me about this,
The shadow people?
the umibozu, is just that fact that it's just a head and shoulders that comes out of the water. Like, hey guys, you guys got a bucket?
I
You guys
love
got
that.
something to store something in?
That seems great.
Apparently, though, one of the ways to get away from it, if it does not immediately destroy your ship upon its emergence and does ask you for a barrel, if you give it a bottomless barrel, it gets so confused by the idea of it that you can get away.
I can't tell.
It
Which
literally-
end is it? What?
Yeah,
It's like the straw. How
it's
many holes does a
bottomless.
straw have?
It's bottomless, so it is both.
It's a paradox.
It's a paradox. Yeah, it is both unable to store, but also infinitely able, because there's no bottom in which to halt what is storing it within
Yeah.
it. So it gets so perplexed by that idea because it just can't think about what
Is
it
Phil
means.
Swift actually an umibozu?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the barrels and buckets that have nothing in them.
With flex tape.
So next time you see a giant head and shoulders coming out of the water, just make sure you have a bucket with no bottom in it. Cut it open, do something. Because
Just make sure they don't have any,
a water bottle would work nowadays.
What if you just give them a bucket though?
Like just a normal bucket,
Yeah.
or one that's fine. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily say that.
It's just like thanks. and
It just
leaves.
says. In this it says demands a bucket or barrel from the sailors and proceeds to drown them.
Oh,
So maybe it does it anyway.
but okay.
So the only way to escape is to actually do the bottomless one.
What if they have flex tape?
Yeah. What if they fix it? Do they come after you again?
How dare you make me do manual labor?
Apparently, there's actually a recent modern sighting in April 1971
Oh wow.
off the coast of Onagawa, Oshika District in the Miyagi Prefecture. A fishing boat, the 28th Konpura Maru, was traveling to New Zealand to fish for tuna, when the boat's long line was suddenly cut and a large creature surfaced from the water. It had many gray-brown wrinkles on its body and eyes were about 15 centimeters in diameter. A collapsed nose and no mouth to be seen. Half its body was submerged in murky water, so the whole body could not be ascertained, but it was said to leave a trail. It is said that as they got ready to poke it with a harpoon, the monster disappeared into the sea. When the officer of the research lab, the Enyo Suizen Kenkyojo, at a branch office in Yazoo, heard this account, he supposed that it was likely that the fishermen were mistaking an organism like a fish or whale for a monster.
I mean, that's usually what it is, but
yeah, it's usually always explainable. The half of its body that appeared from the water's surface was about 1.5 meters in length. So by inferring that its whole body was several times that length, they said that they never heard of an organism like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was the Umibozu, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Though it was like a pretty far off depiction of it, because there's so many different physical attributes that are widespread between different tellings of like the origin of it. Like the difference between a jet black body or the fact that it might actually just be the appearance of like an old man with a smooth head, smooth bald head.
Maybe that's what the smiley thing was meant to be.
Yeah. If you Google search the Umibozu, that's Umibozu, there you can see the difference in the pictures that I was talking about. The terrifying one from the art, and then it looks almost like it was like a manga draft or some kind of illustration that's in a manga style. That's the one that has like the smooth head and a terrifying grin, almost like a Titan from Attack on Titan. That's the way it looks. It just gives me that grotesqueness that just reminds me of that. But yeah, so that's the Umibozu. There was a significance to it that it reminded me of a nightmare I actually had recently, because you don't get those much anymore, dreams in general, but like a nightmare, like you don't really get those much as an adult unless you're really stressed. And I had one where a bunch of shadow creatures came out of the sky. So this just kind of reminded me of it and hit different, but it is about that time that we do throw it back over for a few more messages. So thank you again for being passengers on board the Paranormal Express. We'll be right back with you with some more tales of sea serpents and sea monsters on the radio voice of Kutztown University.
Yeah, my next one's not a serpent.
Well, sea scaries.
Sea scaries?
Yes.
Sea scare. Oh, okay, yeah.
On the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR.
Did you know that KUR, Kutztown University's award-winning radio station, is on Spotify? We offer an incredible sampling of some of our best talk, informational, and educational programming as podcasts on the service. Find KUR's podcast page on Spotify by typing in the words Kutztown University Radio or Kutztown University into the Spotify search bar. This is KUR, the radio voice of Kutztown University.
Programming on KUR brought to you by the students of Kutztown University Radio. I'm Mitchell Smedley at the KUR News Desk. Checking campus headlines, Kutztown faculty, club leaders, and advisors, as well as students themselves, have a chance to support the student experience at Kutztown University. This comes as a result of the governor's historic 15% proposed increase in funding for Pennsylvania State System of Education, PASHE, which includes KU. The enactment of this budget will be discussed and debated by the PA State Legislature. KU has announced some ways in which our community can influence that debate. Students, you can help by participating in advocacy activities on your own or with your friends. Faculty, please consider offering extra credit to your students for service-oriented or subject-related projects. Advisors and club leaders, you can help by considering this opportunity as an advocacy project. Golden Bears, let's all do our part to make this go through. We check news hourly on KUR.
Welcome back on board, everybody. On the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR. This is the Paranormal Express.
Yeah.
We're
a train.
We are a train.
Actually, today we're a boat.
Today we're some kind of voyage. Though
We're the sea train.
We're the sea train.
That's from One Piece.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Can we be the sea
We're
bicycle?
the Puffing Tom.
Can we
What?
be the sea bicycle?
There is a guy who does. Well, actually, he doesn't ride on the water directly.
Doesn't he? He turns it into ice.
Yeah,
right?
he creates ice and then rides on it.
That's
that
cool,
way.
though, still. He's just so silly looking.
It
It's
is.
just a normal bicycle.
He's like 9 feet. He's taller than that, I believe, actually. One Piece is weird like that. This is a tangent, but I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, we're just filling up time anyway.
Pretty much. I mean, I have other topics to talk
yeah.
about, but Kuzan, I forgot what's his name. He doesn't go by Aokiji.
Yeah, all the admirals are like huge.
Aokiji is all the One Piece characters are huge except for the Straw Hat crew. He's
Yeah.
9'9".
That's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Pretty tall. He's a lanky boy too.
Let's
so
see.
it
How
just makes
tall
him look
is
taller.
Sengoku by comparison?
Yeah. Isn't
He is 9'1".
Whitebeard's like 20 feet taller, right, or something?
Something like that. There's Whitebeard.
I always bring him up because he's just the last cool guy I know.
He's been gone for a while.
Yeah, a while.
He's 21 feet 10 inches.
That's insane.
What about Roger?
Oh my gosh.
Gold Roger.
Yeah, we're talking about sea monsters.
Sorry, Gold D Roger.
today.
He's just 9 feet. Just a humble 9 feet
Just a
tall.
humble 9 feet. Yeah.
You want to
pretty
know the
average.
real humble one?
Yeah.
Monkey D Luffy.
Isn't he like 5'6"?
5'8.5".
Oh wow.
He was 5'7" and 3/4 pre-time skip. But yeah, anyway.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, if you're just joining us, I talked about, to me at least, the terrifying Umibozu. I didn't really get enough information to make it sound as scary, but it's just the way it looks. The idea of just a shadow thing, because...
How tall did I say Whitebeard was?
21 feet.
Kaido's taller.
Yeah, that made sense.
He's 23. He's technically weaker.
Yeah.
He's 23 feet, though. Not
but,
really, though. Anyway. Sorry,
I think what's terrifying with the Umibozu is just, is constantly that idea. What really propels what we talk about on this show is that idea of the unknown, fear of the unknown, explanations.
That's the oldest fear.
Yeah, explanations of the paranormal.
Fear of the dark, fear
are
of the
usually
unknown.
just not a misunderstanding of those things that we don't have the ability, the thinking.
Talking
to
about
understand.
misunderstandings.
Yeah.
The Kraken.
The Kraken. There we go. Fantastic segue, right?
It
into
is a
what we got.
misunderstanding. And also, it's very vague on what it actually was. Most people believe it to be the giant squid, obviously. Though, are there giant squids in the north? Do you know?
In the north?
Yeah, in the north. I thought they
I
were
feel
all
like
down
I
south.
feel like they would be in the colder parts, right?
Well,
Are
yeah,
they
the
not?
north. Like, that's what I mean, the North Pole.
I imagine they gotta be, in the colder oceans.
And I mean, the Kraken comes from Norway.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Makes
It's
sense.
not Greek in origin or anything like that. Though they do talk about some of the Greeks, but the Greeks kind of had networks that went all over Europe, so they had knowledge from the other cultures and stuff like that. To an extent.
Travel and trade definitely brought across a lot of those things, yeah.
Yeah, but the most well-known, well, not most well-known, one of the earliest people to start defining the Kraken as a octopus, or as they called it, I guess, a polypus.
Makes sense. Multiple of whatever.
Was a guy named Pontoppidan? I don't know. He's from 1753. There was a later guy who's more well known for being the first to do that, but he wasn't. One of the interesting things that I never thought I would relate to the Kraken or to squids in general are starfish. I never thought that I would be like think of them as being similar or related in some way. They're not.
Yeah.
But like I never thought of them that way. I can see why people would think that, though.
Yeah, which is because only until embarrassingly, only until recently did I find out that. I say recently, I mean the last 5 years, that starfish move a lot.
Not these ones.
Okay.
These ones latch themselves to rocks apparently, and
Okay.
then they send out some of their legs to grab shrimp and crustaceans and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, other ones they do move a lot.
More like sea stars, because they actually have the feet
True.
that move constantly. It's not just an undulation of their appendages.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a point where Pontoppidan declared the kraken to be a type of octopus or starfish, and he sort of equated it with something called the Gorgonocephalus or Gorgonocephalus, which is a type of starfish, I believe. Trying to get the more accurate name. I think they called it a basket star or something like that. They're very weird looking. I don't like them, personally. They're called Medusa's head or Kraken's young to some fisherman lore. But eventually he realized what they actually were, and he was like, no, they're not the Kraken's young. They're this other thing. Or at least at some point, someone realized that. But it didn't help much because all the fishermen around there were like, yes, this is what this is. This is the Kraken's young. I guess to get... I think most people know what the Kraken is. Speaking of Krakens,
Let's crack open one of those notebooks.
Sure, I was going to say the Kraken's handing me a paper, but all right.
Keep cracking open one of them notebooks.
Anyway, from the KUR notebook. Attention KU community. Want to join KUR but don't want to be on air? We have a spot for you. Contact us at kur@kutztown.edu and express your interest, and we will find the perfect place for you at KUR. KUR is anything you want to make it. If you don't hear back within a few days, please stop by rooms 188 or 190 in McFarland Student Union Building or call us at 610-683-4059 during normal business hours. We hope to see you soon. This message is brought to you by the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR. Anyway, so to give a general idea of the Kraken, I think most people know what the Kraken looks like by now. A lot of people, of course, seen the Kraken's depiction in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It's usually just depicted as a squid.
Yeah.
It's a giant squid that wraps its tentacles around the boat and then rips it down into the ocean.
Yeah.
Sometimes, although in early versions, it's also kind of just said to be a sea monster. It's the word used. It's a generic word used for sea monsters. At some point, though that did change, and it became the specific cephalopod creature.
Yeah, they feel like for a while you would just say the Kraken and just know, oh, it's a terrifying creature thing. That's all really you know.
So the etymology of the word is kind of interesting. So, of course, Kraken comes from the Norwegian, which is Kraken, spelled the same way, or Krakjen, which is the Norwegian, which is one of the Norwegian spellings of it, which comes from a word of crake, it looks like, or krake, I guess. Krake. It's Krake. According to their dictionary, it means malformed or crooked tree, which makes sense, kind of.
Yeah, tentacles or the limbs or the roots.
It also originates from Old Norse kraki, Kraki, which means pole or stake.
That one's a little bit more loose to me.
A little bit.
A little bit more of a stretch, but yeah, okay.
Oh, and also there's crake in Old Norse, meaning sea monster or octopus.
There it is. That one makes the most sense.
Well, that's also in Old Norse. Both of those were from Old Norse.
Okay.
There's a Swedish, which also has crake, probably stemming from the Old Norse, meaning sea monster. Or it's also traced to meaning pole for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
Did Scandinavia just have a series of poles that pop out of the ocean and sink their ships?
Possibly.
That's what they believed them to be. And then again, I guess if you see a tentacle and you don't really know what it is,
yeah,
I guess a pole is an easy way to describe it, but you'd have to describe it as being crooked.
Yeah. I guess because when you think of a pole, you think of it being relatively straight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the etymology for that. Though there is another, well, this isn't that. This doesn't have to do with etymology. But there is another creature that it's equated with called, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's an Icelandic creature called, it looks like Hafgufa. It's Hafgufa. Though
Hafgufa.
it's probably not the same thing. And the Hafgufa is probably just some whale. That's what I found when I looked at it, at least. Though, of course, the Kraken, it was a relatively vague term for a very long time. Yeah, that of course, like the Wikipedia page just says that it may have come from the giant squid, though I can't find. I don't know if the giant squid appears up there. I assume it does. I don't really like looking at pictures of them. Oh, good, there is none. Thank God. The piece of squid recovered from... Oh, so there was a piece of squid recovered from a ship that's, I guess, supposedly encountered it?
Yeah. Okay, so the North Atlantic, North Pacific, and near South Africa are the most commonly found areas.
Okay.
With them. But that's as far as we know, because they maintain a depth that's far greater than what we normally go to.
Yeah, they only come up very rarely.
Very rarely. Usually they're dead if they do.
Yeah. I just remembered the reason why they came to the conclusion that the starfish or basket stars or whatever were not actually I forget what they were called, like Medusa's head or whatever, the Gorgon head. The reason they came to the conclusion that they were not actually krakens or kraken like young is because then the sea would be full of them. Because there were so many of these like they're young that they believe they were washing up on the shore of Norway. They were everywhere.
That's horrifying.
They were just they were thinking like,
It's just Norway. Yeah.
Well, it's because Norway's like that coast.
Yeah.
Covers almost all of it. But yeah, that's basically the Kraken.
Okay, that's a fantastic time for us to wrap up then. Thank you again for being
Oh yeah, you're right.
an esteemed guest on Paranormal Express
Of course.
with us today on board. Jake, where can they find us after the show?
You can go to our website at paranormal-express.com. There's all of our links to socials on there, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us by searching Paranormal Express on there as well, probably. I haven't really tried, but...
Either way, as long as that website's the best place just for being a hub to find all our
You can
communications.
also go to our anchor.fm, look for Paranormal Express, and you can find everywhere where you can listen to the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you guys once again and have a fantastic night. Stay out of the water.
We got to get this train back on land.